Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube, and today we are taking a look at the screenshots from the 5th generation of my Sims 4 I'm a Lover challenge. The numerous iterations of the initial thumbnail for the generation. So this generation, we started with our Sim Bloom, who is in fact named and inspired by the show Winx Club. I was a really big fan of the show as a kid. It was actually a really big comfort show for me. Well, specifically the first season and kind of the second season, but mainly the first season was like really big comfort show for me. I didn't really watch past the second season because they just kept changing it. I don't do well with change, and it was just one of those things I don't know. But with my I'm a Lover challenge, I put all of the couples that I really like from different shows or movies that I've watched. Basically any couple that I really ship, I guess, that aren't from a book, and I put them into a random wheel, and I randomized who each generation was going to be. So as you can see here, our previous heir, Rodney, was actually from the movie Robots, which was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And I know we don't really get a whole lot with Rodney and Cappy, but yeah, so then we have a dog dying and a dog aging up here. The one on the floor dying is Fender, and the one aging up is Wally, just so you know. But each generation is based off a different comfort show, movie, favorite couple kind of thing. And Bloom, if you were familiar with Winx Club, her boyfriend's name is Sky, which is what the blonde here is in fact named. So Bloom and Sky. Now we kept the last name of Sparks, which is going to be pretty much the last name throughout the entire challenge. I find it really fitting because Sparks is supposed to be from Nicholas Sparks, who is a really well-known romance author, so I thought Sparks was fitting. But yeah, so I'm gonna make a little bit of noise here as I get my notebook out. So this generation, I guess I should give you a little bit of background on Bloom. So Bloom is an only child. Her dad was quite the, I don't want to say ladies' man because he had boyfriends and girlfriends, but he was a very big player. He normally had 3 or 4 relationships going at once. If you look back at the picture that is actually of him dying in his room on the wall, there were a bunch of pictures, and those were all pictures of people he'd been in relationships with. Now, about the time that his mom, who he was really close with, her name was Beth, about the time that Rodney's mom passed away, he met a woman named Cappy, and he kind of mistook his feelings towards Cappy. He thought he was actually in love with her, when really it was just that she just happened to be the one that he had just started a relationship with about the time that his mom died, and she was there to comfort him and support him and all of that stuff. So he thought that he loved her. They ended up they were engaged, and they ended up having a child together. That child is Bloom. That's a really bad picture. That book is also upside down. But that child was Bloom. When Bloom was about a toddler, I want to say, Rodney and Cappy broke up because Rodney had resumed his player lifestyle. He'd gone back to having numerous relationships, having an affair with somebody else, and so Cappy moved out and actually had a mod installed so that Bloom could go between houses, kind of how it would be with a typical divorce family, that the kid has to split their time. And then Cappy actually ended up dying prematurely due to neighborhood stories. So Bloom then came to live with us full time. Now, according to Generation 5, my family was screwed up, and I was scarred. I didn't want that for my children. So one of the rules was that she was never supposed to speak to her parents again, like either of them. But the thing is, after Cappy passed away, Bloom got really close with Rodney, and Rodney ended up living with us till he passed. I just couldn't bring myself to just blank him, just completely ignore him. So I kind of ignored that rule. The recommended aspiration for the generation was big happy family. We were supposed to move out as soon as possible. Again, never talk to our parents. We were to live in a quote-unquote nice house, so decorated, large enough for a family to start in, a family to start growing. We had to learn all of the traits of the sim that we were going to be dating, get married to a nice sim, so we had to have good traits, have as many kids as possible, have at least one kid pass away, and then after the kid passes, we're supposed to become antisocial. So Bloom had quite a few friends growing up that I wanted to kind of embody her Winx club group. So she had there were the boys and the Winx girls. Now they weren't named after the Winx characters, but they all were supposed to embody certain characters. Bloom and Sky were actually the only two of that friend group to be named after Winx characters. Oh, that's the wrong... Sorry, that was from my Rainbow Generations challenge. So yeah, they knew each other from high school. Bloom ended up going to university for, communications? Was that her degree? Or it might have been fine arts. She went into the political career. Sky was in the military career. They always had a dog in the household, so we were supposed to have as many kids as possible, so we ended up having 5 children. You already saw the birth of their first son, Helia, and right now she is in the process of, in these pictures, like there he is, that's their second child, their second son, that is Naboo. All of their kids are named after some character from the show, so Helia and Naboo are both eventually specialists in later seasons. So yeah, that's Helia. Naboo is our only blonde. All of the other kids had their mom's black hair. And like she was pretty quick to have the first 3 pregnancies. And the thing is, our house was not big enough to have 5 kids. We had 3 bedrooms upstairs. So it was technically a 4-bedroom house, and I probably could have made it work, but I wanted a bigger house. So I really played around a lot with the Panda-sama pregnancy mod, and like that's part of or streaking. That's part of it, is going to the doctor. There's all these different birth styles. So she did 2 different kinds of home birth. Now we're doing a C-section because Bloom is actually pregnant with twins. And it's actually really cool because with the C-section, they will give her both babies. Like, they will fully acknowledge the fact that there's 2 babies there. And, like, I have yet to, because I play around with this in my current household as well, I've yet to see any other of the, like, delivery options show or, like, acknowledge both babies. So we had twins. We had twin girls, Darcy and Daphne. Darcy is one of the Tricks, so one of like the original like bad guys from the first season, and then Daphne is, and like the thing with the Winx show is that like Nickelodeon eventually bought the show and then changed a bunch of stuff. So like if you aren't familiar with the original version of the show, which is what I ended up watching, I watched the original version, not the Nickelodeon edition of things. Like there's just these little things that just don't make sense, that like don't line up, that they're different between stories. But like Daphne in the original version was, I think actually Daphne was supposed to be just the protector of the dragon flame, which is Bloom's power. And then later they say that she's Bloom's older sister. But Daphne is a pretty important character to Bloom in the first season. And here we are actually pregnant. This is our last pregnancy. This is our heir that they're currently pregnant with. So we had, like, the kids were pretty close together. I'd actually say that there was the most distance between this pregnancy and the twins. Was probably like the greatest distance. Because our heir was pretty young when Helia eventually moved out. Now, all of our friends from their friend group, like right here, this is Iris. Iris is supposed to be like Stella from the show. She ended up marrying the guy that was supposed to be like the Brandon. Ooh, that's a bad picture. The Brandon Steppen. So, like, they ended up having 2 kids together, and I named those 2 kids Stella and Brandon. Now, not all of the relationships were necessarily correct. Like, the Sims that represented Musa and Tekna actually ended up being in a relationship together. The Flora Sim and Timmy Sim ended up marrying each other, so, like, some of the relationships are a little off. The Riven and Aisha character ended up marrying, so they weren't exact partners like they were in the show, but like all of their kids were named after. What are you doing, Chloe? Sorry. All of their kids were named after characters from the show. So what we just saw, this is Helia currently aging up. That there is our heir. That is Bruce, named after Bruce Wayne. Because, and like if you have come from my gaming channel and have decided to watch this video for whatever reason, you may already know I am a big superhero nerd. Like right now we're currently playing the Suicide Squad game, Unalive the Justice League, and I love the Arkham games. They're some of my favorite games, the Batman Arkham games. I love Batman. And my favorite relationship of his, like my favorite person for him to be kind of like matched up with is Wonder Woman. I cannot stand Catwoman, like hate her with a passion. Cannot stand Talia al Ghul, Damian al Ghul, like can't any relation to the al Ghuls, cannot stand them. So like I really like him paired with Wonder Woman, and so they were in my wheel to be randomized, and so we got Bruce / Diana, so it was gonna be whichever. I don't know why I took a picture of the pool. Whichever we had, if we had a boy, it would be named Bruce. If we had a girl, it would be named Diana. Would be our heir, and we got Bruce. We also passed a picture of Helia kissing a girl. That would be Flora. So that is the Flora-inspired sim. She and her husband, who is the Timmy-inspired sim, ended up adopting a little girl, and she was named Flora. And then they ended up having another child, I believe, and I think his name was Timmy. Then we got another dog. So the one that just passed away, the little white one, was named Eva. And then this one is a Great Dane, and her name is Lady. That was our current thumbnail. And I never realized how much toddlers could do with the dogs, but I thought it was really cute. So just had to get some pictures of Bruce being cute with the dog. So yeah, this dog is now an elder, and she is going to continue to live with Bloom and Sky instead of moving out of the household to follow Bruce. Just because she's Sky's dog. So yeah. What are you doing? Sorry. If you wanted to know, there are 314 pictures from this generation. I don't know that I've ever had a generation, like just a single generation, have this many pictures in one generation. I don't think that's ever happened. So there we have Naboo. Naboo is dancing with a sim named Aisha. So she is the child of the Aisha and Riven inspired Sims. Again, if you've never watched Winx, you're like, what are you talking about? But if you're familiar, hopefully I'm making some lick of sense. But Aisha is the child of the Aisha and Riven inspired Sims. So she's dating Naboo, which is Helia and Naboo's girlfriends are both like the canon, like quote unquote canon girlfriends that they have in the show. So like Helia ends up dating Flora, Naboo ends up dating Aisha. So that all ended up working out. Now, none of these Sims... Aisha looks pretty similar to her character counterpart, but the other three do not. Well, I guess you might be able to say Helia kind of does, because Helia has black hair, but like he has really long black hair in the show. And I don't love long hair on guys. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not a fan. It's not a just. Mm-mm. So I was trying to give them as long as I liked without like giving them super long haircuts, because it's just personally not my favorite. So yeah, we have the twins aging up. So that's Daphne. Daphne wears a lot lighter colors. Darcy was just aging up a moment ago. Darcy wears all purple. So Darcy's evil. Darcy's the one in purple. Daphne's the one in the cheerleading costume. They're very close. Very, very close-knit. There's Helia and proposing to Flora. So cute. What else? Then there's Bruce. Typical Bruce fashion, looking pretty upset. This is the wedding. They got married in a really pretty garden lot made by little Simsy. The wedding did not go very well. That's Bloom giving a speech. Bloom gave like 2 or 3 speeches because I couldn't get anything to work like it was supposed to. Yeah, then that's out of order. What are these doing? These are just smack dab in the middle. Okay, I think my photos got mixed up at some point. Now we're back to the wedding. I thought it was funny that all the boys were supposed to be in, like, they were all supposed to be in matching, like, pale green. I wanted them to look like they fit. So I was trying to get a picture of all 3 of them. Bruce is the only one that is not in green. I think he was wearing black because they didn't have anything in that shade of green for the wedding. But, like, you got Darcy sitting in the aisle back there. Yeah, so we're trying to fit this pale green. Moose. I hear you back there. So, yeah, at least it looks pretty. But then at the same time, like, all of the plants around there are, like, half dead because it was fall. They are currently trying for a baby. So that's what they're doing right now. 'Cause I wanted them to have lots of babies. I wanted to have big family. So they're trying for a baby, which actually was successful. I don't know if I get any... I think I have at least one picture of Sky with their child. Because they do end up having a kid. We got Bruce aging up. Bruce was randomized to have hearing aids. I randomize if my Sims are going to have hearing aids, like a glucose port or like diabetes, anything like that, or glasses, and then I'll randomize if they have... Oh. Wait, okay, so that's their child. His name is Riven, because I didn't have any Sims named Riven. I swear I took pictures. I think we got some stuff out of... There it is. My pictures apparently got out of order. This is Daphne. Daphne died. And see, one of the Sims was supposed to pass away. It was part of the challenge requirements. And I was planning on it being one of the twins, to be honest. But this is not how I was planning on it going. I was thinking, like, maybe I would try to get one of them to drown or something. Instead, Daphne went outside and froze to death. So that was great, right? Like, I think it was like the day before Helia's birthday. So that's the grave Sky was just mourning at, was Daphne's. So yeah, she passed away. Shouldn't make it to young adulthood. back to happier times. We got Naboo proposing to Aisha. And then Aisha showed up and was like, hey, you want to move into my house? Before we could plan a wedding for them. So they just moved out. There was no wedding. They just moved out. And that was that. Like, this is them in their house, actually. Oh, no, they did get married. They had a private wedding. That's right. She is pregnant. They do have a child together. I think they only have one kid. Because, see, Helia adopted a second child. So they have 2 kids. Here we are mourning Daphne. Because it was actually Remembrance Day. Which was pretty fitting. That's Sky aging up into an old man. It was also Darcy's birthday to age up into a young adult. We had moved into a new house. We're coming to an end here. I'm going to get cut off. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Abrupt ending. Bye!